Captain Nax of the Galactic Confederation's 7th Exploratory Fleet couldn't believe his compound eyes. His mandibles clicked furiously as he stared at the holographic display, antennae twitching in a mixture of confusion and excitement. You mean to tell me, he chittered, his translator struggling to convey the perfect blend of disbelief and sarcasm, that we've stumbled upon an inhabited planet with absolutely zero orbital defenses? Ha! And I thought I'd seen everything in this forsaken galaxy. His second-in-command, Lieutenant Krek, bobbed her eye stalks in agreement. It's true, sir. Scans show no energy shields, no defense satellites, not even a measly asteroid redirect system. They're about as protected as a Flurbian slug in a salt mine. Nax's exoskeleton vibrated with barely contained laughter. Oh, this is rich. A species advanced enough for primitive space travel but dumb enough to leave themselves wide open. It's like they're begging to be conquered. The bridge of the Confederation ship Audacious Mandible erupted in a cacophony of alien chuckles, growls, and whatever passed for laughter among the motley crew of space-faring species. All right, settle down, Nax managed between fits of laughter. Let's take a closer look at these. What did the database call them? Humans? Humans? Whatever. Krek, give me a rundown on their defensive capabilities. And try not to laugh yourself into a molting cycle while you're at it. Krek composed herself, her tentacles still quivering with mirth as she called up the data. Well, Captain, it seems these humans have a delightful mix of projectile weapons, chemical explosives, and a charming little thing they call nuclear warheads. Oh, and get this, they still use combustion engines for most of their vehicles. It's adorable, really. Combustion engines, Nax repeated, his voice dripping with mock awe. Why, that's positively cutting edge. Next, you'll tell me they still use wheels. Funny you should mention that, sir. The captain waved a clawed appendage dismissively. Spare me the details. I can only handle so much technological innovation in one day. He turned to address the rest of the bridge crew, his voice taking on a theatrical tone. Well, my fellow beings of superior intellect and common sense, what say we do these poor, defenseless humans a favor and introduce them to the wonders of Galactic Confederation rule? A chorus of enthusiastic agreements filled the air, punctuated by the occasional snort or giggle. Excellent, Nax exclaimed. Helmsman, take us into low orbit. Communications, prepare the standard surrender or be annihilated message. And someone get me a drink. I have a feeling this is going to be the easiest conquest in Confederation history. As the Audacious Mandible descended towards Earth, its crew blissfully unaware of the chaos they were about to unleash, humanity was going about its business as usual, which, as it turned out, was anything but usual by galactic standards. In a nondescript office building in Washington, D.C., General Laura Hawkins of the newly formed Earth Defense Force was enjoying her third cup of coffee and fifth exasperated sigh of the morning. She glared at the flashing red dot on her computer screen, silently cursing whoever had decided that alien invasions were now her problem. Johnson, she barked, causing her aide to nearly jump out of his skin. Get me the President, the Joint Chiefs, and for the love of God, someone who can make sense of this alien gibberish they're broadcasting. As her staff scrambled to comply, Laura allowed herself a small, sardonic smile. Well, she muttered to herself, I guess those tinfoil hat-wearing conspiracy theorists were right about something after all. Who'd have thunk it? Across the Atlantic, in a cozy pub in London, Dr. Nigel Withersby, the world's foremost expert on theoretical xenolinguistics, a field he'd invented, and, until about 5 minutes ago, had been routinely mocked for, was choking on his pint of bitter. His eyes were glued to the pub's ancient television, which was currently showing a live feed of a massive, insectoid spaceship hovering over Trafalgar Square. Bloody hell, he spluttered, beer dripping from his unkempt beard. I knew it. I ruddy well knew it. He turned to the stunned barkeeper, a manic glee in his eyes. You see that, Jerry? You all laughed at old Nigel, didn't you? There's no such thing as aliens, you said. Get a real job, you said. Well, who's laughing now, eh? Jerry, still staring open-mouthed at the TV, managed to croak out, I think you've had enough, mate. Meanwhile, in a top-secret bunker deep beneath the Swiss Alps, the world's leading scientists and military strategists were gathered around a comically large red button. Dr. Helga Schwarzenegger, no relation, pushed her way to the front of the group, her wild Einstein-esque hair adding to her air of manic genius. Gentlemen, ladies, and variations thereupon, she announced in a thick German accent, "I believe it's time to unveil our secret weapon." A murmur ran through the crowd. General Buck Turgidson of the U.S. Air Force leaned in, his voice a conspiratorial whisper. "You don't mean?" Helga nodded solemnly. "Ja, Herr General. Project Backfire is ready." As the alien ship settled into orbit, Captain Zix Nax was practically giddy with anticipation. "Status report," he demanded, almost bouncing in his command chair. Lieutenant Kreck consulted her console. "We're in position, sir." The humans appear to be in a state of panic. Their primitive communication networks are overloaded with messages about alien invasions and something called Independence Day. I believe it's some sort of documentary they're using as a reference. Zix Nax's mandibles clicked in amusement. How quaint. They probably think they can defeat us with a computer virus or something equally ridiculous. All right, let's get this show on the road. Open a channel to their leaders. The main view screen flickered to life, showing a stern-faced human female in a military uniform. General Hawkins stared back at the alien captain, her expression a perfect mask of professional calm. "Greetings, alien visitors," she said, her voice steady. "I am General Laura Hawkins of Earth's United Defense Force. To what do we owe the pleasure of your unexpected arrival?" Zix Nax puffed up his thorax, preparing to deliver his well-rehearsed conquest speech. "Pitiful humans. I am Captain Zix Nax of the Galactic Confederation. Your planet is woefully undefended and your technology laughably primitive. We have come to claim Earth as our newest colony. Surrender now, and we may allow you to live as our servants. Resist and face utter annihilation." He paused, waiting for the inevitable pleading and groveling. To his surprise, General Hawkins merely raised an eyebrow. "I see," she said, her tone suggesting she was addressing a particularly slow child. "And I don't suppose you'd be interested in, I don't know, peaceful cultural exchange? Maybe some interstellar trade? We make excellent coffee, you know." Zix Nax chittered in disbelief. "You dare to mock us? We have the power to reduce your cities to ash." Hawkins shrugged. "Wouldn't be the first time. Listen, Captain Zyxor, whatever. Let me level with you. We've been expecting something like this for a while now. Why do you think we don't have any visible planetary defenses?" The alien captain's compound eyes blinked in confusion. "Because you're primitive and defenseless." A slow, predatory smile spread across the general's face. "Oh, my dear Captain, allow me to introduce you to a little human concept we like to call the long con." Before Zix Nax could respond, alarms began blaring across the audacious Mandibles Bridge. Lieutenant Kreck's tentacles were a blur as she worked her console. "Captain, we're detecting massive energy buildups all over the planet's surface." Zix Nax whirled to face the view screen, where General Hawkins was now sporting a grin that would make a shark feel inadequate. "You see," she continued, as if discussing the weather, "we figured that sooner or later, some overconfident alien race would come swanning in, thinking we were easy pickings. So we decided to, shall we say, sandbag a little." On cue, the Earth seemed to come alive with activity. Hidden bunkers opened to reveal enormous energy weapons. Stealth satellites suddenly became visible, their weapon systems locking onto the alien ship. And from the depths of the oceans rose sleek, advanced vessels that bore little resemblance to humanity's known naval forces. "Oh, and remember that primitive space program of ours," Hawkins added. "Funny story." The audacious mandible rocked as something impacted its shields. Zix Nax watched in horror as a swarm of small, agile craft emerged from behind Earth's moon, weapons blazing. Surprise, came a new voice over the comm channel. A grinning human in a spacesuit waved from what was clearly the bridge of an advanced battlecruiser. "Colonel Jack O'Neill, Earth Space Force, at your service. We figured hiding behind the moon was a bit cliché, but hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?" Zix Nax's mandibles worked soundlessly as he tried to process this turn of events. Finally, he managed to sputter, but your vehicles, the combustion engines." General Hawkins actually laughed at this. "Oh, those. Let's just say we've been watching too many episodes of Pimp My Ride. You'd be amazed what you can hide under the hood of a 1967 Chevy Impala." As if to emphasize her point, the view screen split to show scenes from around the globe. In New York, a yellow taxicab transformed before their eyes, unfolding into a towering mech suit. In Tokyo, what had appeared to be a bullet train launched into the sky, revealing itself as a sleek aerospace fighter. And in London, the iconic red phone booths were opening to deploy squads of power-armored soldiers. You know, O'Neill chimed in, his voice thick with amusement. For an advanced alien race, you folks sure are easy to fool. I mean, come on, no planetary defenses? Did you really think we were that stupid? Zix-Nax slumped in his command chair, his exoskeleton pale with shock. But how? Why go to all this trouble? Hawkins leaned back in her chair, the picture of smug satisfaction. 2 reasons, Captain. First, it's hilarious. The looks on your faces? Priceless. We're going to be laughing about this for decades. And the second reason, Zix-Nax asked weakly. Insurance, O'Neill replied. See, we've been listening to your chatter for years. We know all about your Galactic Confederation and its habit of integrating less advanced species. So we figured, why not give you fellas a little taste of your own medicine? Hawkins nodded. Exactly. Consider this a friendly warning, Captain. Earth is not, nor has it ever been, defenseless. We're more than happy to join the galactic community, but it'll be on our terms. So what's it going to be? Peaceful first contact? Or do we need to demonstrate some more of our primitive technology? For a long moment, silence reigned on the audacious Mandible's bridge. Then, with a defeated slump of his shoulders, Zix-Nax raised his hands in surrender. Very well, he chittered. You've made your point. I formally withdraw any threat of conquest and request permission to initiate peaceful diplomatic relations. Excellent choice, Hawkins beamed. Now, about that cultural exchange. Have you ever tried coffee? As the tense standoff dissolved into the beginnings of interstellar diplomacy, humanity collectively breathed a sigh of relief, and then promptly burst into uncontrollable laughter. In mission control at NASA, a junior technician turned to her superior, tears of mirth streaming down her face. Sir, she gasped between giggles, do you think we should tell them about the time loops, or the alternate dimensions, or that thing with the ancient stargates? The grizzled mission director chuckled, shaking his head. Now, Jenkins, let's not overwhelm our new friends on their first day. Besides, he added with a wink, we've got to save something for the sequel. Across the globe, as the news of humanity's spectacular bluff spread, celebrations erupted. Conspiracy theorists emerged from their bunkers, smugly declaring, we told you so to anyone who would listen. Area 51 gift shops saw a sudden surge in business, while producers in Hollywood scrambled to rewrite dozens of alien invasion scripts. In London, Dr. Nigel Withersby was being bought drinks by the very same people who had mocked him just hours earlier. You know. He slurred, raising his umpteenth pint in a toast. I had a feeling something like this would happen. It was all there in the ancient texts, if you knew how to read between the lines. Sure it was, Nigel Jerry the bartender chuckled, polishing a glass. Sure it was. Meanwhile, in the secret bunker beneath the Swiss Alps, Dr. Helga Schwarzenegger was gleefully pushing the big red button over and over, cackling with each press. Take Zat, you oversized space bugs. And Zat, and Zat, and Zat. General Turgidson gently pried her away from the console. Easy there, Doc. I think they got the message. Besides, we don't want to drain the batteries on our Doomsday Delaware Fleer just yet. Never know when we might need it again. Back on the audacious Mandible, Captain Zix-Nax was nursing the alien equivalent of a strong drink, his antennae drooping in embarrassment. I don't suppose, he muttered to Lieutenant Krek, that we could convince everyone back home that this was our plan all along. You know, to test the humans' readiness for galactic society. Krek's eye stalk swiveled in their approximation of an eye roll. With all due respect, sir, I think that ship has not only sailed but achieved faster than light travel and is currently exploring another galaxy. Zix-Nax sighed. I was afraid you'd say that. Well, look on the bright side, at least we've made first contact with a species that appreciates a good practical joke. Did you see the way they rigged that moon of theirs to be a giant hologram projector? I have to admit, that's pretty impressive. As the alien ship settled into a peaceful orbit, preparations began for the first official meeting between Earth's leaders and the Galactic Confederation. News channels worldwide were abuzz with speculation about what this new era of interstellar relations would bring. In New York, a street vendor was already selling I Survived the 15-minute Alien Invasion t-shirts. In Paris, chefs were experimenting with recipes for asteroid escargot and Martian macarons. And in a small town in New Mexico, a group of retired Air Force personnel were having a good laugh about finally being able to talk about their weather balloon encounters. As night fell across the planet, humanity looked up at the stars with a new sense of pride and anticipation. They had faced their first extraterrestrial challenge not with fear, but with humor, creativity, and just a touch of well-justified smugness. General Hawkins, finally allowing herself to relax, raised a steaming mug of coffee to her lips. She savored the rich aroma before taking a long sip, her eyes twinkling with mischief as she gazed out her office window at the alien ship now peacefully orbiting Earth. You know, she mused to her aide, who was still trying to process the day's events. I almost feel bad for them. Almost. Johnson, her eternally flustered assistant, managed to close his gaping mouth long enough to ask, "Ma'am, do you really think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship, or are we just postponing the inevitable?" Hawkins chuckled, a sound that managed to be both warm and slightly terrifying. "Oh, Johnson, you sweet summer child. This isn't the beginning of a beautiful friendship, it's the start of the galaxy's most elaborate prank war." As if on cue, her secure line buzzed. The caller ID showed MIB K. She answered with a grin. "Agent K, I was wondering when you'd call. How's the view from the shadows?" The gravelly voice on the other end had a hint of amusement. "Spectacular, General. I must say you played your part beautifully. The look on that bug's face when you revealed our hidden defenses? Classic." "Why, thank you," Hawkins preened. "I've been practicing my smug human face for years. But I have to give credit where it's due. Your team's holographic planet shield was a stroke of genius. I particularly enjoyed the flickering effect when their scanners first hit it. Nice touch." "We aim to please," Kay replied dryly. "Now, about Phase 2. As the two conspirators discussed their next moves, the rest of humanity was settling into its new reality with typical adaptability and humor. In Silicon Valley, tech giants were already racing to develop the first human-alien compatible smartphone. Early prototypes included features like tentacle touch and telepathic texting, along with a robust translator for species with no concept of emoji. NASA's gift shop saw a 500% increase in sales, with My Other Car is a UFO bumper stickers becoming the hot new accessory for minivans across America. Late-night talk show hosts were having a field day. Jimmy Kimmel opened his show with, "So an alien walks into a bar." No, seriously, this actually happened in Brooklyn last night, apparently. The alien ordered a pan-galactic gargle blaster and was very disappointed to learn it's just a fictional drink. The bartender gave him a Long Island iced tea instead, and now the alien thinks he can fly. Social media was ablaze with memes. The trending #AlienProblems featured gems like, "When you travel light years to conquer a planet but end up addicted to their cat videos. Alien problems. Tried to mind control the humans, got Rick-rolled instead. Alien problems. Came to harvest Earth's resources, can't figure out how to use a self-checkout. Alien problems." Meanwhile, aboard the audacious Mandible, Captain Zix-Nax was coming to terms with his new role as reluctant diplomat. He stood before a mirror, or the alien equivalent, practicing his speech for the upcoming galactic press conference. "My fellow beings of the Confederation," he began, his mandibles quivering slightly, "I stand before you today to announce that we have made successful first contact with a species known as humans. No, they did not surrender. No, we did not conquer them. And no, I cannot explain why I'm wearing this New York t-shirt. It was a gift." And apparently refusing would have been a diplomatic incident. Lieutenant Kreck poked her head into his quarters. "Sir, you might want to see this. The humans are. Well, they're throwing us a welcome party." Zix-Nax's antennae drooped. "Oh, cosmic larvae preserve us. What fresh madness is this?" On the view screen, a massive gathering was taking place in Times Square. Humans of all shapes and sizes were dancing, waving signs with messages like "Welcome to Earth. Now Probius and aliens are people too, we think." A giant banner stretched across the square read "First Annual Intergalactic Block Party, All Species Welcome." As they watched, a group of humans in surprisingly accurate alien costumes started a conga line, shouting, "We come in peace, we come in peace," to the rhythm of their dance. Zix buried his face in his upper appendages. Krek, be honest with me. We're never going to live this down, are we? Krek's eye stalks swiveled in what might have been sympathy. Look on the bright side, sir. At least they're not trying to destroy us. And I hear their pizza is quite delicious. Just then, an incoming transmission lit up their console. It was Colonel O'Neill, his face split in a wide grin. Hey there, bug buddies. Hope you're ready for the party of the millennium. We've got games, we've got food, we've got a dunk tank where you can try to soak world leaders. Putin's up first, and let me tell you, he does not look happy about it. Before Zix could formulate a response, O'Neill continued, "Oh, and fair warning, we're about to launch the fireworks. Don't panic when you see a bunch of explosions in the atmosphere. It's not an attack, just us being festive." As if on cue, the sky lit up with a dazzling display of pyrotechnics. Spectacular bursts of color formed shapes of flying saucers, little green men, and even a remarkably accurate portrait of Captain Zix looking thoroughly confused. Down on the planet's surface, in a small town in the American Midwest, an elderly farmer leaned on his fence, watching the fireworks with his wife. "You know, Martha," he drawled, "I reckon them aliens thought they was real clever, sneaking up on us like that." Martha nodded sagely. Bet they're kicking themselves now. Imagine thinking humans wouldn't have a trick or two up their sleeves. The old farmer chuckled. Yep. Though I gotta say, I'm a mite disappointed. All them years of crop circles, and not one of them fellas has asked to see my prize-winning corn. As the celebration continued both on Earth and in orbit, a peculiar sense of unity swept across the planet. Humans, it seemed, had found a new common ground, the shared joy of pulling off the greatest practical joke in the history of the universe. In the days and weeks that followed, Earth's integration into the galactic community proceeded with a mixture of humor, chaos, and the occasional cultural faux pas. The first intergalactic summit was held in Geneva, where Earth's leaders presented their alien counterparts with a variety of welcome gifts. These ranged from the sublime a collection of Earth's greatest works of art and literature to the ridiculous a set of My Human Went to Earth, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt shirts in various alien sizes. Tourism boomed as curious aliens flocked to experience Earth's many wonders. The Great Wall of China had to be retrofitted with gravity stabilizers to accommodate species used to different gravitational fields. The Eiffel Tower installed a zero-G viewing platform, and in a move that surprised everyone, the notoriously secretive North Korea opened its borders, but only to extraterrestrial visitors, leading to the galaxy's most surreal theme park. Humanity's penchant for adapting alien technology in unexpected ways quickly became legendary. Within months, someone had figured out how to use a Zorbaxian matter replicator to create the perfect pizza. A Venusian atmospheric regulator was repurposed to create the world's most intense haunted house. And a Rigellian quantum computer was used to finally answer the age-old question, where do all the missing socks go? As for Captain Zix and the crew of the audacious Mandible, they found themselves unwitting celebrities. Their failed invasion attempt had been turned into a hit holovision series, with Zix being portrayed as a lovable, bumbling anti-hero. He was even invited to host Galaxy's Got Talent, where he discovered a hidden talent for stand-up comedy. Years later, long after Earth had become a respected member of the galactic community, Captain Zix, now Ambassador Zix, would often reflect on that fateful first encounter. You know, he'd say to anyone who would listen, his mandibles clicking in amusement, "In all my years of space exploration, I've learned one universal truth: never, ever underestimate a species that can turn a practical joke into an interstellar foreign policy." And somewhere on Earth, in a hidden bunker deep beneath the Swiss Alps, a group of scientists gathered around a big red button. Dr. Helga Schwarzenegger, her hair now streaked with gray, but her eyes still twinkling with mischief, turned to her colleagues. So she said, a sly grin spreading across her face, "Who's ready for phase 3?